and Thomas Pihl. An exhibition which is up on the galleries on the floor immediately above us, and I think which is an enormously beautiful and distinctive exhibition. It's a particular pleasure to welcome the artists tonight. Inger and Thomas are here. Unfortunately, Jan Groth was unable to travel from Norway to join us this evening for health reasons. Jan, perhaps best known as one of the most celebrated artists of his generation in Norway, is certainly a former New Yorker, and I think known to many of you and greatly beloved. He was closely involved in the planning of this evening. He oversaw the drawing of the wall drawing. You'll see a very specific wall drawing in one of the galleries, done by two very talented assistants who are here tonight. He oversaw that by Skype, and he's been very involved, and it's very sad that he can't be here, but actually these are from him, and he is here in spirit. Hopefully he'll make it before we close the show in January. And I am very happy that Inger Grytting and Thomas Pihl are very much here with us tonight. And they, along with Jan, represent 3 generations of Norwegian artists, joined in employing the art of the reductive. As you will see upstairs, each room of the gallery has been dedicated to one artist, and that enables you, I think, to experience the body of work while creating connections to the exhibition and the artists as a whole. I have known Inger and Thomas both as artists and as individuals for a number of years, and I've been an admirer of their work from the very beginning. I first met Thomas nearly 20 years ago when he received a fellowship from the American Scandinavian Foundation to spend a 1-year residency at the ISCP here in New York. Since then, his work has been included in 2 exhibitions here at Scandinavia House before this one, and all of us at ASF take great pride in having been part of his early career in New York. I came to know Inger more recently and remember very warmly the retrospective of her work, which opened at the Northern Norway Art Museum in Tromsø, I guess about 7 years ago. And I was very privileged to be there for that occasion. Since then, I've seen her work frequently, and I'm always in awe of her great ability and her vision. So it's a great treat to have both of them here tonight, and I'm enormously pleased and grateful that we can exhibit their works here at Scandinavia House. Most of you know Scandinavia House, but just to remind you, we've been in existence here at 38th and Park for nearly 20 years. We opened in 2000, and since that time we've welcomed nearly 3 million visitors, coming for our films, concerts, lectures, children's events, and exhibitions. This exhibition is the 67th exhibition to be offered here at Scandinavia House. Earlier ones have included, from the Norwegian perspective, Munch, Warhol, and the multiple image. From the Finnish perspective, the Independent Visions, Elaine Scherfbeck and her contemporaries from the collection of the National Gallery of Finland. And most recently, the Lego Bricks exhibition, which had a very popular long run with a lot of little people all over the place. In the coming weeks, we're going to be presenting a number of special programs complementing this exhibition. On November 17th and January 12th, we will also have special artist-led tours of the exhibition. Those are Saturdays, so please come back. It's great to hear the artists talk about their work. You'll be hearing some of it right now. And then we are also doing a number of children's events, beginning this Saturday with a special art workshop called Draw the Line. The exhibition you're going to see shortly has been made possible with the support of some very generous donors. And most notably, I would like to thank the Bergeson Foundation and the Leif Herrig Foundation. I'd also like to acknowledge the contributions made from the American Scandinavian Foundation's endowment, specifically the funds, the Bonnier Family Fund for Contemporary Art, the F. Donald Kenny Fund for the Visual Arts, and the Norwegian Centennial Cultural Fund. I'd also like to offer my very warm thanks to the Norwegian Royal Consulate General, and we're very honored to have the Consul General here, Harriet Berg, with us this evening, so welcome Harriet, and thank you for your support. They also have loaned 2 works which are in the gallery, so they've covered the bases pretty well on this. And we also are very grateful to the Office of Contemporary Art of Norway, which has provided travel support. Before I turn the podium over to Karin Hellandsjø, I would like to offer special thanks to the dedicated ASF staff who have worked on this exhibition, and most notably, Emily Stoddard, our coordinator of exhibitions and public programs, who has been on top of this for quite a long time. Also Lori Fredrickson, who's running around with a camera somewhere, who is our Communications and Outreach Manager. Our Manager of Educational and Cultural Programs, Kyle Reinhardt, and Victoria McGann, who is the Manager of Scandinavia House. And I think the entire ASF staff, all of them joined together as a team to make these events possible. And now it is my real pleasure to turn things over to Karin Hellandsjø, who will be having a brief discussion with the two artists. And it's a great pleasure to welcome Karin. She has been the curator of Light Lines and done an outstanding job with it. She is a true leader in the Norwegian art world. She is the Director Emeritus of the Henny Onstad Center in Oslo, having served as director from 2005 to 2011, and before that, back in the 70s and 80s, she was Chief Curator. Between those two stints at the Henny Onstad, she was also the Chief Curator of Norway's National Museum of Contemporary Art for nearly 20 years. Karin has curated and organized dozens of exhibitions in all of her venues, as well as many around the world. And she has published countless books on artists, notably, and in conjunction with exhibitions, notably on Kurt Schwitters, Ilya Kabakov, and of course, Jan Groth. She has a very close personal relationship with Jan, and therefore it's particularly nice that she's involved here. And tonight, it's also very nice to have her here because Karin has been a great advisor and friend of the ASF for many years. She has curated several important exhibitions here, including Norge, the contemporary art from the collection of Queen Sonja, Jon Olav Riise, a Norwegian modernist rediscovered, and Prize Prince. We're very, very lucky here at ASF to have Karin in our ballpark, and we're very happy to have her here and congratulate her on the show. Karin Hellandsjø, please come.
Wonderful to see all these people, to see all of you here in spite of this bad weather. So, as Gallagher said, the background for this show is actually my work with Jan Groth, which dates back actually to the beginning of the 70s, and then to my knowledge of the art of these two eminent artists, Johanne Grytting and Thomas Pihl. And to all these artists' common ground or common linked ties to New York. Having collaborated with Scandinavia House before, I found these three artists would make the perfect show for you. Bringing together three Norwegian artists of three generations with three different ways of artistic expression, but to have influenced and continue to influence each other. The work of each implies the power of the reductive and a controlled expressiveness. The work of all three reflect their close ties both to Norway and to New York. Jan Groth, as you said, he lived and worked and taught in New York for almost 25 years, from the mid-70s until 2000. Inger, she came here when she was 23, she settled here, but has kept her close ties to Norway. Thomas, he was 30, I think, when you came, settled, and has since commuted between Norway and New York. In many ways, Jan Groth, who is now turning 80 in November, is a mentor for these two young monks. Due to physical reasons, as Ed Gallagher said, he is not able to be here, but he's here in spirit, so. As to the show, you're going to see new works by Inger Johanne and by Thomas, paintings, drawings, while Jan Groth's section is more retrospective, with the tapestry from the late 1980s, drawings from American collections from the 70s to the 90s, two new sculptures, and a wall drawing made on site in collaboration with his eminent assistants, Stian Bjørgen and Skåle Jensen. A big thank to you. You've done a marvelous job. Thanks also to the lenders of works here, and to American Scandinavian Foundation, to Ed Gallagher and Emily Stoddart, and to the whole staff here, whose professional work and kind attitude set the tone for the show and for the installation. This has been wonderful. So before I give the word to the two artists present, let me quote Jan Groth's artist statement as his part of this talk. So I quote, Jan says, let me see. The works in the exhibition cover all the media I have worked in, drawing, tapestry, and sculpture. All the works present their relation to and dialogue with the surface. The space in the three-dimensional works are explorations related to my point of departure in the surface. Thereby, the works in the exhibition represent all phases of media in my room. This makes me very happy. An artist's oeuvre is like a flower folding out. This exhibition shows the bud, the core. Johanne Grytting and Thomas Pihl both join in their consistency and in their strive towards absorption and stillness in relation to the visual structure of their work. The mixture of the structural and the emotional is stimulated by the American art world. There, all the three of us have a common platform. So, then to you, Inger and Thomas. Let's talk a bit about your work. Now, I have to ask questions. You put it on? You, Thomas, you often talk about two visual experiences making up your work. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Yes, sure. You talk about the work in many different angles, but when it comes to is it on? Hello? A bit better now. You can talk about the work from many different angles, but one of my core interest in being an artist is how the eye works, how you can trigger the eye from almost from blindness to piercing detection of visual impacts, and coming from Bergen and the West Coast, that landscape has been extremely important for my development as an artist. Being in this landscape where you see the grandiosity of it immediately. There is an immediacy. You get it's breathtaking, and then when you live in it and walk in it, and which we Norwegians do, and I did since I grew up. You have this experience of that your vision is changing. You go from seeing grandiosity to suddenly see tiny differences of qualities in the nature, like a small drop of water leaving a leaf, or colors that you wouldn't see if you didn't tune your eye into it. So that experience is a core interest in my art, and also in the paintings you will see upstairs. And then I'm talking to you. Okay. And then the other experience we talked about was coming here to New York, which is completely the opposite, which is the same grandiosity. I came to New York and I saw this powerful, aestheticized or visual world that was like bombarding towards me, and in a lot of artists, criticized it, because for me it was a huge fertile ground for trying to understand how visual materials work on me as a human being and me as a visual artist. So I started to study how the visual works, where does translucency go over to opacity, where does the cold color start to lean towards being warm or warmer, where does the feeling of something that's perfect when it like in my work there are marks from the process, and so you see the perfectness of the surface, and then all this information start to come to the surface. So did I?
Yep. We'll go back to the technique afterwards, but Johanne, I don't know if you want to talk about nature, but gesture is very important to your work, or in your work, right?
And the formal work I have to do mentally before I even start the work, because with my drawings, the way I build them, or I like to say I build them because it's a very repetitive process. I build up the surface with parallel horizontal lines, very close together. And I use one tool, which is an 8B Faber-Castell pencil. It's my favorite drawing tool. And with that I use Stonehenge paper. So I build up the surface of the paper with these lines. And as I go back and try to remember how I started working that way, I read somewhere that a line can be defined as a point in motion. And if you, in addition to a point in motion, include that one that is drawn with variable pressure and variable speed, then you have a line that is very expressive. So I discovered that the movement of the hand is very imperfect. So when I try to repeat the gesture over and over again, it never looks the same. No line is like another line. They're all different. So those small changes I find exciting while I build the surface, because it's very obvious what I cannot control. So in a sense, the dialogue with it, in my head I have a perfect line, like a minimalist perfect line, but as soon as I put the point of the pencil on the paper, it turns expressive. So basically, these lines and the relationship between them is the subject of my work. And the same is true in my paintings. They are lines, but in this case, they're painted with a thin brush. It's the same size brush every time. One for the light color, one for the darker. And the biggest difference between the two media is that the drawing paper is porous. So when I take a sharpened pencil and start drawing lines, there is real resistance there. It's physically hard to stand there for a long time drawing, because it's almost like you're tearing the fibers of the paper as you draw. While when I paint, the brush just slides right over the surface. So I have to find other ways of creating resistance. So I'm not going to talk about that now. But so that's basically the process. Yeah.
Of course, it's easier for the artist to talk in front of their works. I'm sorry, but you'll soon see the works. So still will, I don't know, the technique is so important, and you'll be asking questions about the technique when you get up there, and you can ask the artist too, but you say some more about your technique.
Yes, the paintings upstairs are acrylic paint on canvas, and it is. I studied acrylic for a long time to see how I could use it most efficiently, and what acrylic do is that I am able to. I use a lot of the medium. Like this is also acrylic, but here you have a lot of pigment, and the acrylic is just gluing into the surface. But I found out that I could suspend the pigment in a lot of the medium. So actually, each pigment is in these thin layers are suspended in the clear mass. You can think of the pigment as a little planet. So actually, light is penetrating the surface of the paintings and surrounding the pigment. It goes all the way back to the back of the canvas, and then it comes comes back again to the viewer. So what you get the front side of the pigment and the back side of the pigment, and in that way you get a mixture of the painterly light, which is the dark colors in relation to the lighter colors, but you also get natural light blending into this to the visual field, and it is hard to differentiate what creates the visual impact. Is this the natural light? Is this the pigment? Is this the color? But it is basically thin sheets of very lightly tinted acrylic paint that is poured onto canvas.
Poured onto canvas, and then you pour and pour. You have many layers, right?
Yes, there is a limit because they are very heavy. but there's layers and layers. So it is like a slab of paint on this canvas. So there is a room. There is an actual room where light can enter and ignite the colors.
Something to look forward to. We shouldn't stay too long, but I think both of you should say something about this relation between Norway and Norway is there over nature and all these things. So anyway, Inge, could you?
Yes, I must say I've been living here now for several decades. I'm not going to tell you how many, but I don't really, as a person, feel that much different than I did when I first came here. In the sense that I like to say, which is a little corny, but that the center of me is the same, but New York has helped me edit myself and my artwork. It's helped me take a sharp look at what I was doing as an artist, partly because of all the impulses in galleries and museums and friends and my mentor, who was a very severe teacher. But so I would say that editing is what happened in New York. But I still, when I'm in Norway, I'm thinking about New York. When I'm in New York, I'm thinking about Norway. So I think that's normal.
Yes, I came here for school in 1994, and the first very important experience was that I'm not going to talk down my fellow Norwegians, but we have some kind of restraint in our culture. So being an art student, it was a lot about what I could not do, and you have to learn this first before you do this. And I came here, and people said to me, "Congratulations, go for it." And I first came to school and Hunter College, and I was presented with a lot of knowledge, very, very high quality teachers, and also this permission to do what I wanted to do and do the research, and that was a very important thing for me, to get that confidence to bring the project further. And the other thing was what I said about before, this overwhelming visual culture that I met, and that became a very interesting research area for me, where I learned how paint could peel, or how paint could have an impact, and all kind of surfaces, basically.
That's about what Jan said too, and it's great then that you will see the results here in Scandinavia House. So I think we'll kind of close it up now. You have met artists, there's something that is much more than you get up. So what you're going to see in this show is our works that open for reflection, visual and tactile experience, which is unique. The surface of these works, the strokes, the structure, are things a reproduction in a book can never give you. So you really have to look close. It's an experience which is incredible. So I think I'll just wish you good luck, thank the artists, and thank Scandinavia House and all. you and then enjoy the exhibition.
Thank you. And Thomas, thank you very much. The exhibition will be open until January 12th, so encourage your friends to come. And as Karin said, it's a show which invites a relaxed and careful looking at the work. I think it's a bit of the Scandinavian sublime right here on Park Avenue. So come back often. Thank you, Karin and Thomas and Ingrid. Enjoy yourself.